Hi, Taurus. This is for me. Oh, goodness gracious. I know I'm a day late because it's a holiday and I was on vacay. And this is the reading for September 7th through September 13th, 2020. And this is my reading too because I too am a Taurus. So I'm excited. Um, and what I did first was I drew a card from this new deck that I opened the other day at the Myrtles, the Magic of You Oracle Cards by Fiona Horn. Love this deck. And so the card I get is the Panacea deck. And that means, and it says there is a solution for every problem. And so it shows a person that their feet are all wrapped up in vines and they feel trapped. But we don't have to feel trapped. Let me say that again. We do not have to feel trapped. Almost always, unless you're imprisoned, and even then there are choices, you have choices in life. You are not trapped by those choices, even though sometimes it seems really scary. In fact, one of the ways you can not feel trapped is to refuse to feel trapped. That sounds like a paradox, but it's really not because, for example, if you're facing something that seems overwhelming, you take it little by little, or you don't let it dwell. If it's something you can't decide right now or you can't solve today, don't dwell on it. Don't sit there and go, oh, woe is me. No, you have to do what you can today and set the rest aside. So you don't need to dwell on something that you can't change today. Just dwell on what you can change today. I also pulled a card from Cheryl Richardson's self-care deck, and I also like this deck a lot. What's really cool about this deck is in 2016, I think, I was in Hawaii and I bought this deck at at a thrift store. And I'm not a thrift store shopper, but my kids are. And I was there with my daughter and one of her besties. So they wanted to go thrift store shopping. And I'm like, we're in Hawaii. We're going to a thrift store. Okay, whatever. So everybody was buying something except me. And I found this deck of cards. And since then, it's become one of the decks I like the most. So the card I get is opportunity. And it says, release your ties to the past. When you let go of the old, you make room for the new. And that is so true. If you have your living room stuffed with junk, you don't have any room to get new stuff. And that's the way it is in your head and your heart. So if something's taking up space that you don't need there, get rid of it. If it's no longer doing you good, get rid of it. That way it gives you the opportunity to move on and have better things. Now, our first card that I get is the Four of Pentacles. And this is all about hanging on to things for no reason. Normally, I would think that this is about money, that you shouldn't be like hanging on to it. And it is reversed, by the way, so we flip it over. But what I think this is saying for us Tauruses right now is we're hanging on to stuff that we don't need in our life. It could be people, it could be a job, it could be friends, it could just be junk in your closet. There's something you're hanging on to that you're not letting go of, and it's not serving you anymore. It's not serving me anymore. Now it's hard though, because as Tauruses, we don't like change. We like things to just go about our way and just stay in the status quo. But it doesn't always work that way. Because if we stay in the status quo, we are groveling around in that mud puddle. And personally, I hate mud. It's gross. It feels yucky. When I was in Costa Rica, we went to this volcanic place and they had mud that we can put on ourselves to help our skin. It was gross. I don't like mud. Yuck. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. So with that understand, no mud. The next card I got is the Five of Pentacles, and this is reversed. Flip it over. So this card is all about these people that are walking outside of this building in the cold and the snow, and they're feeling sorry for themselves, and they're not seeing that this is a warm building that they could go in for solace and for safety. Now, they do have someone with them, but they're not seeing that they could have warmth and food or whatever it is they need. So what that tells me when I have these two cards together, that you're just hanging on to things for so much dear life that you're not seeing what you have. You're stuck in this bad place instead of going on. The next card we get is the Nine of Pentacles, which is completely different. And this card says that you can be a self-made person and you can have everything you want. So what this is telling us, because this card is upright, is that right now we as Tauruses have been hanging on to things that are no longer serving us. And as they no longer serve us, we're not seeing the forest for the trees. And I don't know if you've ever thought about what that means, but when you go stand in a forest, you just see the trees around you. You don't see the overall forest. I went on a boat ride the other day down the swamp, and when we were going by the actual trees, you would just see the trees. But when you would stand back or would be floating back and you would be coming into the trees, there was this great amount of trees in front of you. So that's what it's meaning. You've got to step back and look at what the opportunity is, because we're back to this card, the opportunity that this is a time to release the past. This all works together. It's time to stop being stagnant. It is time to move on. And I believe we know what we need to move on with. I know I do. Well, some of it, not all of it. But I believe we know those things. And sometimes we just stay around way longer than we need to. Whether it's a relationship or a job or a house or a town, we stay too long. We overstay what we should be. And that's really hard. That's really hard. So I'm going to try to do something later on this week. I don't know what yet. So I'll be back. But this is Genevieve with Belladonna Moonbeams. If you want to do a private reading, it's 405-512-9400. Or send me a text or send me a personal message on Belladonna Moonbeams on Facebook. And I'll get back with y'all. If not, I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.